All right, hello and welcome back to another Wednesday night paint and chat. I hope you guys are all doing well. I am very excited. I will probably spend the next 90 minutes just yapping your ear off, so I hope you're ready for that. First saying hello to everybody. What is it, July 8th now? Yeah, that's what it is. So I'm gonna say hi to everyone in the chat real quick. Monkey Shaman was first apparently, and Shayla Bang was second. So thank you both for being here. Valerian, my dear Australian fan, I appreciate you being here as well. Conan, good to see you. Adeptus Ridiculous. Well, that's pretty cool. And Jay Alex, thank you so much for showing up. I love all the pre-chat that happens. And thank you also for the super chat there, Adeptus Ridiculous 2020. Viper Taha, welcome. Paul, I love seeing you here in the chat, my dear moderator. JW, Todd, welcome. Jay, I think I said your name, maybe? Or was it Jen? Either way, welcome. Samuel, welcome. Brayden, good to see you, man. You're not in ZG tonight? Oh no, it's pre-AQ. Why are you here? Achilles Rain, welcome. Joe, oh my goodness, so many people. Salvador Mochia? Either way, welcome. So, real quick, I will be painting tonight. I busted out my dear warhorse from the Grimkin here. It's probably better. There we go, a little bit better view. I needed to paint their little naked butts anyway and get this warhorse moved along here. So, yesterday, Privateer had their Lock and Load 2020 keynote. Now, Lock and Load is a convention that they've had for a number of years that I've never been to. Gonna go to this year, and then the world ended, so no Lock and Load for 2020, but they announced their keynote speak, right, or their keynote stuff with a bunch of announcements for the year, and they started off, I think, with their strongest one, so I've been sort of giddy ever since then. So, oh, Brayden, fine, it's just 20 man, I'm sure we'll have it down in a day. Oh, fair enough. Well, I hope to see Jen a little bit later as well. And Koneman Studios, thank you also for being here. So yeah, I actually got some images. I took some screen grabs of the keynote. I'm sure that's fine. So, first things first, the Iron Kingdoms, which is the role-playing game for Privateer Press, for the World of War Machine. This is actually all of the lore and all of the reasons we fight. They are going to be revamping the IKRPG to a 5th edition compatible version. Now, I guess that's going to be a Kickstarter at some point in the future. They didn't announce when, but I'm super excited because honestly, the IKRPG is probably, I mean, and I like the 2D system, but I understand for compatibility's sake, maybe making it more accessible in that regard. But the IKRPG is one of the strongest things Privateer has. They've got an incredible lore and a huge breadth of story over the last 20 years. And I was really sad because I wasn't seeing as much support for the IKRPG. And then the Infernals came out and they were like, oh, humanity's doomed. And it just was so depressing. But it made me so happy. The IKRPG Requiem, at least so far, hopefully nothing changes with that, is if the Infernals didn't destroy all of humanity. Damaged, sure, but not destroyed. So we get to still have our Iron Kingdoms world. We still get to explore other continents and explore new races and enjoy the world some more. So I am so happy. Whenever I saw that, I was just losing my mind. So they've announced that. Again, I don't know when the Kickstarter is going to be. I guess they're going to be doing a bunch of these as Kickstarters just to, it's probably a good way to scale your audience, right? So whatever it is, I'm all in, 100%. Whatever that pledge level is, all in. Oh my gosh. So anyway, I'm checking on the chat here. I've been waiting to get that out all day. And then the world ends. Sure. Yeah, I know. Well, we don't have to talk about that here. We're in our safe place of painting and chatting. Paul may have eaten all of the cookies. Let's see. Oh yeah, and congratulations to Paul. You managed to have a socially distanced game, a little bit of sense of normalcy, and be able to kind of get a kill team game in. So that is awesome. Riding cowboys are back. Wow. All right. So anyway, bunch of craziness happening in the chat. So there were a few other things that they did announce as well. I was just really super excited after the IK RPG because, quite frankly, I love that world, and I'm really glad that there's reasons to still read the lore, basically. Shale, I love the previous edition of the IK RPG. I've suffered so much OGL D20 stuff for so long since 3rd edition D&D, but I'm absolutely in favor of being a thing to gain interest in the setting. Yeah. JN, I've always enjoyed the Iron Kingdom's lore and story. I look forward to the 5e changeover, right? Yeah. Well, and I mean, the thing about a 2d6 system is you tend to have a very normalized, reliable skill set. I mean, you can roll snake eyes, Lord knows we all have, but a d20 is so swingy that it is what it is. It'll add a bit of chaos to it, but the important thing is kind of keeping the lore alive. I'm hoping that this will be a stepping stone or touchstone into maybe exploring some video game stuff again, which I think would be brilliant. And yeah, again, having a reason to read the lore was just so important. So yeah. I love your energy. I told you, Larian, I've been waiting all day just to share the excitement about this. I think it's a huge deal. So July 9th in Australia. Hello from the future. Hi, Michael. Good to see ya. Snake Eyes is all I roll, unless I'm playing Axis and Allies. There is always that. Lee Cunningham, welcome to the chat. Well, yes. So I've rolled plenty of ones on a d20 as well. I mean, you're just going to get what you get. It's a 5% chance to do anything, basically. And I don't know, maybe it's a 2D, I don't know. It'll be 5th edition compatible, so it'll be whatever that is. I guess that means I need to learn 5th edition now, because I'm, again, all in. And the interesting thing about it, too, is if you think about it, there's other streaming shows and things on Twitch where people are playing these games live, and they're all playing Dungeons & Dragons primarily, right? So they're all in on 5th edition, so this would be a great point for them to, I'm sure they want already famous people to be able to play the IK RPG without having to necessarily learn a whole rule set. I just want to point out to you guys that I'm doing this first. I mean, they don't know that, but I'm doing this first. So, I mean, I've been talking about my show or whatever for a while, and by gosh, if this didn't light a fire under me, I don't know what will. So, yeah, I'm really excited. Oh, it's so exciting. Anyway, they announced some other things as well. Let me check in on the chat here. Possibly bring some casual gamers too. Yeah, I would think so. The IKRPG world is really cool. It's steampunk, it's fantasy, there's alchemy, there's, mechanica. You can be an engineer. There's, gunfire and gun lines, and you can be very militaristic. And then, of course, there's just proper magic. And there's freaking sentient robots. Semi-sentient robots. Barring Deathjack and maybe Drago. But either way, it's an incredible world that totally captures the imagination. So yes, I can definitely see casual players getting on board with this. It's probably one of the only times that I really see steampunk done right, and so I'm so glad that they did not abandon this. So I'm glad you enjoyed the IKRPGs coming back. I am. I'm so happy. I take this IKRPG announcement as an open invitation to bug you about your as yet unreleased show content. Yes, it'll happen. And by God, yes, it needs to happen. And I think I might have some more tools for getting that done sooner than later, so. I'm actually building a D&D game for Zoom in the next couple of weeks. RPGs, even with social distancing, is possible. Yep, I wonder what percentage of Zoom meetings are, people playing games, right? Because it's free, right? Miranda, you can get free copies of the 5th edition open game license online from multiple sources. It's a solid read. I will add that to my homework pile. It's a good point, though. Now Asphyxius can get a hand of Eye of Vecna? Oh, geez. I guess so. See, I'm a DM, and since quarantine, I haven't played a game of D&D, and I feel deprived. Get on Zoom, man! I'm sure there's, groups of all of that stuff you can play. I love it. Butcher? No. No, Butcher doesn't get to be in my RPG stories unless he just needs to be stopped for the monster he is. Let's remember, Butcher's a bad person. Bad. Siobhan. But does the world have that time in 1999 when the Undertaker threw mankind off Hell in a Cell into the Spanish announcer table? I don't know. I guess in your world it could. It would have to... I mean, we do have extreme colossal wrestling, so it's actually more likely than you'd expect. Let's see here. Good morning from Germany. Hey, Nathaniel, welcome. We're in D&D via PowerPoint, battle maps, shared screen over Discord. It works surprisingly well. Okay. Did Valhalla in the Fall get canceled? No, it's still going on. Do you all use slide transitions? Yeah, I haven't done anything on the PowerPoint stuff. I do have Tabletop Simulator. And honestly, like the IKRPG stuff is, or any of the RPG stuff is probably a lot easier to do through something like Tabletop Simulator if you can't do it in person, but I don't know, it's exciting. So let's see what else we've got here. They did announce they had a ton of new models, and they announced new stuff for War Machine. There's going to be a bunch of Legion releases followed by Grimkin releases, so it's nice to see some Grimkin getting love again. And so with that, I can show you this other one. I'm just taking the highlights. Like if you really want to know everything in the keynote, you can just watch it from Privateer's web YouTube. I just took the stuff that I was super excited about. So this one is the Defiled Archon. This is the Grimkin Archon, and it's apparently the Menoth Archon that's been taken by the Grimkin and, sent into their dimension, which should be Urkane, but I don't know. They put it into some hellscape where it got like all messed up over millennia, and so he comes back and he's got this, parodic reading of the true law, and the shoulder pads are upside down, and he's got wings made of faces and less fire. So we'll see what comes of that, but the Grim can get an Archon, so that's pretty exciting. D&D is my jam. Me to Age of Sigmar and 40k. Fair enough. Good old Age of Sigmar. Wait, how's their new Warmahorde stuff if they blew up the world? Well, people are playing in the past. Because so the current timeline of the proper war machine in the IKRPG, or not in the IKRPG, but in the Iron Kingdoms, in the world of War Machine, is that the Infernals have just come and are now wreaking havoc. So they're in the middle of winning. It's just when they announced Warcaster, they kind of gave it away that they already won, and so I'm very salty about it. And so I'm very excited that, again, the IKRPG just says, never mind. We like this world, we'll keep it going. Late to the party, what's an Archon? So an Archon is just a type of model. They're basically demigods, or angels and demons, if you will, for the different factions in War Machine and Hordes. And this one would be a Hordes Archon because they work for Grimkin, and it's all, defiled and gross and stuff. Miranda, if you start an online IK game, I'll get the rules and make a Laley's Resistance Fighter. Okay. Man, getting something like that coordinated online is I'm really, really bad at it, basically. So that's the problem there. But maybe. I need to have actual free time. This whole shutdown has made zero difference in my work schedule. Zero. And I'm also salty about that. But whatever, c'est la vie. Do they have a book on their spear for the pen mightier than sword? Well, it's like they stab you and then they read you some litanies and then they finish killing you. Seemed to be the way it was explained. I like that it is post-infernal as well. Archons are pretty awesome. They start power swelling in the game, potentially. I mean, they're really, really cool models, and they got really big models, right? And, they make some really pretty models for the game, so... But I do wonder how powerful they are. Whenever I was at Indie Storm, pre-apocalypse, I had to fight against a Void Archon, and that was kind of unfun. But it was pretty fun for the other guys, so, I mean, I guess they're good models. That depends on the book series. If the book is either Webster's Dictionary or The Art of War. It's the canon of the true law, which is like a, well, I don't know. You know what it is. I need to run games again. I miss the screams of my players. I can't wait to show you guys the show. Well, that said, it's not all canon if they all woke up from a bad dream. If they all woke up from a bad dream and say the do-gooders was actually won the battle wars. I would be fine with that. I would totally accept it. It's like, no, the old witch was doing some things. We saw some gremlins for a while, and then nothing really happened. So I guess the whole legend of the 9 centuries or whatever to pay the debt from the Infernals was just not a thing. And I would, that would be fine with me. What's your army's Archon? So in the world for, Grimkin, they have the Defiled one, but for Khador, they're more religious based, so the Archons are of like the deity of Morrow, which was, it's a very Jesus, like Christianity kind of based religion. And there's the Archon of Manoth, which is more Old Testament Christianity, Catholicism sort of stuff. And so in Khador, you are free to be whatever religion you want. And there isn't really atheism in this world because there's a pretty known and established underworld and a very established world of gods. So you can have either a Midnight Archon or a Morrowind. You can't have both because they don't get along, but you can have either one. And then there's some other ones that are more demon, like Legion of Everblight got one. That's a big old demon because dragons are like, whatever, we can make Archons too. I wonder if Grimkin will get a colossal model. I mean, they did get Old Witch too, so I get that she's not technically a colossal, but it's fine. Turns out colossals are a huge pain to paint, so I don't necessarily need a lot of them in my life. Starting my first 40k army, and we'll have very little official GW stuff because it is an all-female Astra Militarum one, so I have to look for models elsewhere. The internet is your friend for that. I know there's tons of models available for that. Riot Quest, the RPG. So yeah, they did announce some stuff for Riot Quest. In fact, what was it? This one. This guy here, it looks like he's going to be a Riot Quest model. So you'll see it's the Widowmaker Marksman, but it's also a pistol wraith, so he can be either with Khador or with Crix. And then he's probably really good because pistol wraiths are really stupid good. And turns out Widowmaker Marksman is also pretty good. So I feel like that's a reasonable model. Kind of an interesting looking one. Kind of excited me. So that one I wanted to share as well. It was a highlight. And part of the inspiration for getting back and painting my Grimkin, even though I've been sitting here for nearly 20 minutes yapping about this, is a release of Isaiah the Dread Harvester. He is a Grimkin Dragoon, which means that there's a mounted version as well as an on-foot version. And he is obviously essentially the Headless Horseman. He throws his head at you. And if you look, he's riding a Frightmare, which is another Grimkin horse model. And so you can see there's like the horse face and then there's like another face coming out of it and like another pumpkin face coming out of it. So it's got this aliens kind of feel going on to it. But he's also quite cool. So I'm excited about getting him too whenever he releases, which is hopefully right around Halloween. Let's see here. That would be 2 fall mandatory reading. Oh, well, there you go. Grimkin are getting a Defiler Archon, yes. Do you have one of the Titan type models for Khador? I painted my housemate's trolls and he had this big cannon thing pulled by 2 rams. Oh, I think you are actually talking about, clearing that up. I think you're talking about more of a battle engine. But I do have both Colossals for Khador. I have the Conquest, which is assembled, and I have Victor, which is not assembled. And then I've got a battle wagon. War wagon? I think it's battle wagon. The Khadoran one, gun carriage. That's also not assembled because I need to modify it. But yeah, they're all on 120 mil bases, so they are significant. I don't have anything I can show you at the moment, however, because I'd have to get up and find it. I'm Googling the Archons now, and holy crap, the Minions Archon is awesome. The Minions Archon is delightful. I think you're looking at the Dunian one. Is that right? Let me pull it up too. Well, I guess the Minions are getting another Archon too. Minions Archon. Image. Yeah, the Dunian one I think is amazing. Void Archon is a pain in the butt. The Primal Archon is also quite cool. A little stone man, which fits in the whole golem theme because Circle Ouroboros has great models for those. So exciting. I am the Headless Horseman. The Horseless Headman. Oh, jeez. Congratulations. Oh yeah, there you go. Victoria Miniatures. Jay knows what's up. IK dragons in the RPG would be downright frightening. They are epic in the lore. Oh, they're devastating in the lore. Like, you never want to run across a dragon. Okay, I love that dragoon. It's so wicked. I know, he's great. I love that Khador is super imperial and yet the most open to religious diversity. Also, I think that they were the first kingdom to abolish slavery, but don't quote me on that. Well, as I understood it, slavery was brought on by the Orgoth, and they were one of the first to try and rebel against the Orgoth. Like them and Calatia in Signar were both working on sort of creating these resources and preparing to fight against the Orgoth. It's just the Orgoth found out about the Khadoran one. They blamed Signar, thinking that it was, you know, bad actors on their part as to why they got caught. So I don't recall there being much slavery, I mean, except for possibly in Menoth, post-Orgoth. But the rebellion lasted hundreds of years as well, so who knows for sure on that. Let's see, crusty jugglers. Just watched Hot Fuzz, so eating ice cream with homemade fruit compote. Wow. An Aliens Ghost Rider horse? Yeah, kind of. I mean, and the Frightmare is something they've had for a while. Shale, I played an IK RPG as an aristocrat, man of war, a follower of the old faith. A loyalty officer gave him grief, so I told him that if he preferred Moro, he should change out his red uniform for a blue one. Ooh, snappy. See, and I love that you can do that with the IK RPG. And there are so many different theologies to follow as well. I mean, it's not just Maro and Menoth. There's, of course, the Dunian races, which have to do with Dunia and the Devourer Worm and that whole, like, not quite a Gaia concept, but sort of a take on it. Beautifully established stuff that, was it Doug Seacat, I think, wrote all of that? I mean, what an imagination. Such incredible, like, exploration of Dunia and, again, the Devourer Worm, and then the creation of Menoth, and then Maro and Thamar as the ascendants, like, human ascendants due to, like, self-realization, essentially, and then aside from that, you even have, like, the Iosian gods, which are a whole pantheon of gods that, you know, started getting sick and no one understood why. And I'm really curious, post-Infernals, what those stories are going to look like, because last we left off, like, Nisor was sort of revived. I don't think Syra was waking up, and all the other gods seem to be dead. So, curious to see where that picks up. Okay, I'm sold. The Headless Horseman model may just push me into Wormhorns. Yay! You know what? And if you do, Grimkin is such a great army to get into because it's fairly limited, so you don't have to worry about, you know, picking the right model. Like Khador, Signar, Menoth, Crix are so expansive that it can be extremely intimidating to know what to get. Whereas with Grimkin, you're kind of, like, you're not going to be, like, super top tier or anything, but you're probably going to have fun with it. So, we're going in hot. Hey Patrick, welcome. I've been sitting here gushing about the IK RPG. There were some other things announced, but really, and I shared what I remember from that, but after I saw that the IK RPG Requiem game was going to be releasing, sort of had that. I like the Dunian Archon. I may have to pick her up. She's beautiful. And yeah, I mean, as a painter, I'm sure it's just like an incredible model to pick up. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been thinking about today. I mean, it technically worked, but I didn't want to be there. So I just thought about, man, what can I do with the new IK RPG story. Because, of course, my show, it all takes place under the old rule set, the current rule set, right? But that's not like a big highlight of the show. That's the story, it's the characters. Oh, they have such wonderful characters. So, don't you worry. It's coming, guys. Oh, so excited. Anyway, any progress checks? What are you guys working on tonight? I didn't even ask you. I'm so sorry. I got really, really distracted. But yes, time to share. What are you guys all painting, if anything? No requirements one way or the other. Let's see, we need to get some white into here. What's gonna be the best way to do that? Over gray? Maybe gray is fine. I don't know, we'll see. I'm really excited for the 5th edition D&D IKRPG if it means we get the IKRPG model support. Yes, and that is actually a really good point, and that's part of why I've subscribed to Minicrate, was because I wanted to sort of amass alternative sculpt models to use like that, and you know, some of them got a little wonky and may not fit, but a lot of them are pretty cool. I mean, the Kara, the Sloan Ranger one would make a great IKRPG model, and there are some really cute ones, so I mean, that's the primary reason I signed up for it. Obviously, cool models are cool models. But I really don't need that much more to paint because OMG. Where is my gray? Well, that looks like it was taken from me. Darn it. Let's see here. No shame. I never think about work, even when I'm working. Man, it's been such a rough year. It's like, I can't even. I'm finishing the last 3 gangers of my Goliath. Yay. Highlighting is fun. Shale not working on anything until August. Paints are packed for the move. Ooh, exciting. At least I think exciting. Hope it's all good. Safe travels. Patrick, I actually just got back to the office for work and I'm driving home. Ooh, careful. Trying to get the twins to sleep. Then tree terrain. Well, that sounds delightful. Good old tree terrain. There's so many good tutorials on making those too. Ragnar Blackmane, and I bought my mate the Tau Leader as a gift. Commander Shadowsun. Is that her? I think I'm going to start her. She's got like a whole book series, I think, right? She's a Tau something or other. Farseer? Are they Farseers? But yeah, I have a friend who's super into the lore, and I think that's the only reason I recognize that name. Got my friends into horse finally. My friend is painting Dr. Arcadius Army with me. Wow. He's an interesting dude. Building Gaz. Nice, Daniel. Patrick, but I'll be working on stuff for Frostgrave for Jeremy and I for Nerdscape. And I have to build a models agnostic sci-fi team to test out stuff for Jeremy. Oh, nice. After my game today, I bought the Gene Stealer called Sniper Sanctus and a box of 5 aberrants. Wow. I'm working on some confrontation because working on a game that's been discontinued for 10 years is my jam. Fair enough. Tau Farseer. Oh my gosh. I don't know. Tau person who can survive melee. Some special one. Farseers or Eldar. Oh my gosh. Oh no. I stepped into that one. I'm sorry. Turns out I'm not that interested in the lore of fish people. But I'm really glad you're having fun. Granite gray. I don't want that light gray. Where's my dang pewter gray? Carry on. You guys are all doing a fantastic job. But yeah, so the keynote lasted about an hour and a half. So if you're interested, it's not too much time, but it's some. No gray anywhere to be found. Well, bugger. There's so many paints everywhere, and I can never find exactly what I'm looking for. Well, we'll just make do with what we have. So, what else goes on here? So, as you can see, I've sort of got the skull in place. Which really, that part I think should be metal, and the skull is really just this underside part, which is pretty faint. Or is it a pet name for Ragnar? Who's next? I'm in character mode. Nice. I hear you, brother. I found my AT-43 models the other day and I pine for that old game. I'm working on 2 Genestealer Cult Acolytes. Nice. There's still players around, I guess, for confrontation. Finding them can be an issue, I imagine, especially now. But when you do find them, you'll be so ready. So ready. Alright, so metal there, actually. Well, I don't know. Kind of like just leaving that part. I mean, the rest could perfectly well be a skull. I'm just gonna paint that eyeball in there as a silver thing. It'll look like the little monster from Phantasm. Such delightful Grimkin. Really need to paint this darker wood though, but I think that was another model that was missing from me. There it is, burnt umber. There we go. So yeah, my dog is snoring next to me. So sweet. Wow, 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 wow. Dogs are great. They're the best. It's if the Emperor had a text-to-speech device reference, namely one relating to TikTok custody. Ew. Yeah, I haven't watched too many of those. Oh, I haven't seen a lot of those videos, but I love the few I've watched. Hey Miranda, you and Queen A met yet? I missed the last couple of weeks. Queen A? Alexis? She's not in my state, but one of these days we'll hang out. And the last time when she moved, she was kind of in a hurry, so we didn't get a chance to meet up. Oh my god, if I get involved with Grimkin, that'll put me back 7th projects in the works. I'm standing fast on this one, for now. For now. Confrontation had some of the best sculpts ever. What is that, Iliad minis? Are awesome as well, but hard as heck to find these days. Need to go watch your thoughts on 9th edition. Well, we'll see. Okay, Alexis, yeah. Yeah, I mean, at some point, because I'll have to go west to see her, but I'd like to at some point. We can try and get another Worm Hordes game, because that was cut short. Yeah, this is totally the wrong color. What was I thinking when I painted this model? My goodness, what a mess I've made. Just going to smother on this darker brown of superior color for this particular base, because lighter brown really needs to be the twine. And this needs to have more of a dark wood texture. OMG. I don't know. I probably just didn't have the darker paint around me when I started, because apparently I'm just that kind of painter. So this is what I get. So sorry you have to watch me rebase coat, but we'll get there. Paint the hair in, get the brown the way I need it, black wash it. Ooh, and I can paint the base. Paul, you'll love it. It gets a purple base. In fact, I can probably do that pretty shortly here. I mentioned it's actually super peaceful getting to hang out and paint. Very therapeutic, especially when I get to share an insane amount of excitement I have for this new IKRPG set. And I guess other minis coming out too. But, and I know you guys are mostly 40K, so, but understand that the IKRPG is so great. And I've compared it, right? Because you look at 40K has 40K has RPGs as well, right? You've got, what is it? Wrath and Glory, and then there was the older one, which I can't remember at the moment. Dark Heresy, I think. And I don't know how strong a following they get. I mean, obviously enough that they can come out with another edition, but at the same time, I don't know that the world of 40K lends itself as strongly to an RPG, just because, you know, what a miserable world it is, right? I mean, unless you're maybe a rogue trader, or, I mean, even being a space marine seems super boring, right? You go to sleep and all you do is get this indoctrination message. Basically, every time you close your eyes, you're one, you know, singularly focused on your mission at all times. And then you could be maybe in a hive city, which sounds awful. So it really works well. Like the IKRPG seems like it's a more, oh yeah, that is a far better color. Look at that, darker brown versus the lighter one. So, I don't know. I'm just so happy that it's gonna come back. So much of this. And some of this will stay regular light brown because, you know, it'll, like the leather straps of the stirrup are probably fine. I'll have to get some metal in there, so that'll be also fine. I had a discussion this past weekend about using craft paints for my minis. My local game store is starting AOS 40K and is trying to get people to paint. I told them to watch your videos. I'm sure they're like, oh my gosh, what is she doing? What is she doing to that valuable miniature? Well, it gets painted eventually. Although admittedly I started this one a while ago and then didn't come back to it, which is a terrible habit of mine, but I get impatient and want to start a new thing, and it's just like a really bad habit. Then I worry that maybe you guys are getting bored watching if I paint the same model for, you know, 2 or 3 weeks in a row because I'm slow and I get busy reading the chat, and then I get caught up on tangents, and then sometimes we talk about movies, and you know. So, I don't know what a great example I am, but I am painting my minis, so, you know, that's something. That's a thing. It's legit, right? Mostly 40K. What's weird, I thought you had mostly War Machine fans. Actually, yeah, a lot. It's amazing how many 40K fans came to watch War Machine battle reports. And then, of course, I got the Space Hulk stuff, too, which I need to expand on, but, you know. Time. Age of Sigmar has a pretty good RPG, too. Oh, okay. See, I didn't actually consider that one. That's a good point. It is good. I'm relaxing. Thank you. Miserable Worlds have been epic RPG settings in the past. Ravenloft, Dark Sun, World of Darkness. I guess I haven't played any of those, so I hadn't considered it, but I suppose like Shadowrun would probably be a similar example, because that doesn't seem like an amazing world either. It's a matter of how you carve your story out in it. Just like 40K, they are hive cities, mining planets, and then like planets that have 100% war covering them, or infection or something. It just seems hard, but I'm sure it's not impossible, of course, but it just seems challenging. Whew, let's see here. In my humble opinion, the IK RPG is infinitely more playable than the various 40K RPGs. For 40K, you almost have to play similar characters to have a functional group. Maybe? You can get pretty exploratory with the IK RPG. Yeah, I agree. I don't know about the 40K stuff. I don't think 40K as an RPG works either, and I tried to run it. The problem is that the group is made up of totally different characters. A Space Marine, an Inquisitor, an Assassin. People unlikely to hang out with each other. So quick question, what brushes do you guys recommend for beginning painters? And I can only speak to what I've done. For beginning painters, I've often gotten the, what are they, like Master's Touch or whatever? Like you can get them from Hobby Lobby, and they usually have like 50% off sales, so you can get dirt cheap brushes. But my friend Jason over at Creature Caster did hook me up with these Monument brushes, and honestly, they have survived me, and I've been pretty happy with them. There it is. Ta-da! Bombwick. There you go. And they have a bunch of different sets, so he gave me all of them, so, you know, recommend all of them, I guess, because it's nice to have all the options. But if you actually take care of your stuff, get nicer, more expensive brushes. And if you think you're going to destroy everything you touch, then get the cheaper brushes at 50% off sale at Hobby Lobby. That's official advice. I'm using a bigger brush to faster the coverage. Oh, I feel always awkward painting a minis behind. Sorry. So anyway, yeah, that's all that's going on there. Well, good night, Konaman. Appreciate you popping in. Sure about the settings. I was a huge fan of Dark Sun and Midnight. Fair enough. Lego Mech. I was cheered audibly when Dark Sun was revealed for 4th edition D&D. 40k is the D&D of its gaming niche. Everybody plays it. Yeah. Everybody's at least heard of it, and part of that is because they have such strong iconography, and they've put out video games, which I think have done a lot for it. And I guess we'll start seeing some TV show stuff from it. I think Eisenhorn is still in the works, so, you know, we'll see what comes of that, you know. But they did make a movie a while back, but anyway, yeah, be interesting. I'm literally repainting my miniature. This is ridiculous. Whatever. It's gonna look amazing when it gets on the table. Whenever I'm allowed to play with other humans again. Dark Sun, Mad Max for D&D. The known world is a desert with very little metal magic drains. Oh, with very little metal magic drains the life from things around you. The plants are psychic and want to kill you, and halflings are cannibals. Oh my goodness. Okay. Bought an 8-pack Master's Touch at Hobby Lobby and still use them pretty often. So Samuel takes care of his brushes, and so you can probably get pretty far when you use like brush soap and the wax or whatever to keep things fine. Beginning painters, synthetic brushes are decent and won't break the bank. Moving up from there are Kolinsky sable brushes, but they definitely cost more. Oh my gosh. Did I tell you guys I watched like a whole video series, or not a series, it was just this long video talking about how a Series 7 brush is made. And then it made me sad because I realized that the little weasels that the hairs are made from are killed in the process, which seemed pointless to me. But anyway, yeah, it was a whole thing. It was weird. Series 7 brush. You pay some good money for that. The best hairs on earth, I guess. I mean, probably. It's also still an artisan craft to even make those kinds of brushes. So, probably not something you want to begin with. Unless you're showing off. Actually getting through this brown pretty quickly. Yay. I mean, it's all gonna get a wash anyway, so I'm not too concerned. Marvel Comics is going to start producing a 40k comic. I think it's gonna be based around the Ultramarines. Ugh. I guess Space Marines probably belong perfectly well in comic books. They're so ridiculous. But are they going to port over the comic fan fiction weird thing from Russia? Was it Ravel? Ravel, I think was her name. Super weird, like soap opera, I think, about like a commissar and an Imperial Guardsman and then like some robot chick. I don't know. It's super weird. Like comics are weird, so they could port that over. It wouldn't hurt the franchise, which is kind of an interesting hallmark of a strong one, right? It's like they just get real experimental and no one cares. And it either does well or people just forget about it and wait for the next thing. Like they did with Legend of Zelda. And that terrible game came out. What was it? Wind Waker? Blah. Anyway, digressing from other IPs. IKRPG, as it was and Unleashed, will always be my favorite rule set. Gamma World is a close second. Adeptus Ridiculous. You're doing a fabulously well done job. Oh, thanks. I guess I'm a veteran painter now, by virtue of continuing to paint somewhat mediocrely, but good enough. Which makes me an expert painter in the world of War Machine. Thanks to everyone for the suggestions. I'll look into the recommendations and see what's good. I'm pretty OCD about keeping my tools well cared for, so middle of the line is what I think I want. It's probably a great place to start, actually. Rosemary & Co. makes some very good synthetic, non-animal cruelty brushes. Look at you, Michael, with the knowledge. Look at that. IKRPG and L5RE are both top tier as systems for me, but nothing has impressed me more than the Genesis system for... is that Fantasy Flight Games? Okay. You take that Ultramarine hatred back. I'm a follower of the Codex since '95. I can't help that we are the Mary Sues. Ultramarines are fine. Robot Gelman seems fine. Like, I don't get all the hate for him. Space Marines in general are ridiculous. In fact, when I was on the Adeptus podcast this with Remlays and his friend, Tactica Imperialis, they were talking about, I think Robot Gilliman was like in space for several minutes fighting, and apparently does not need oxygen, so that was a thing to know. But then I guess Space Marines also all have like these special gifts, and so they're all a little bit unique. Let's remember for a moment here that, you know, Games Workshop, they had a very tongue-in-cheek game to start with, and they sort of are just retconning to make it more serious, which probably lends a little more strength to why, like, the IKRPG feels more congruent. And for what it's worth, it's not even like the lore that you hear about in the IKRPG is actually guaranteed to be accurate. It's just as accurate as as the knowledge base of the person telling it to you, because it's all a written or told history from the perspectives of other individuals, which is kind of a cool touch. Whereas the Black Library, I guess there's stuff that, I think that a lot of that stuff is supposed to just be true, but then they get not true later. I don't know. The 40k lore is just a bit of a hot mess. Wind Waker was not a terrible game. I appreciate you being here, Samuel, but you're wrong. Sorry. I'd be curious to see if the branch out to other races. Miranda spoke true when she mentioned using Master's Son's brush soap. I swear by that stuff. There you go. Drinking beer? Not I. Just water. You'll bow before the Silent King. Oh my gosh, so much love for the Necrons. It's cool to see. I guess the freaking Silent King's like Emperor level god though. I don't know how they're gonna reconcile that on gameplay. That just seems like a mess. Sure, they'll figure something out, obviously, because the model's released. And yes, it looks amazing, of course. It's confusing because it's the whole, like, another god thing, you know? It's massive, bigger. I mean, I guess they have Magnus, so. Yeah, whatever. Now played and GM'd every edition of L5R except the new one, and I want to give that a try too. I am supposed to be in an L5R campaign, and I've actually been having a very terrible time trying to make my character sheet because the character sheet is 5 pages, which is absurd to me. But, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of reasons for that, but wow. So I've got my Unicorn Clan character started. And then I've just been staring at it and reading the rule book and going back and going, okay, I think I have most of what I need. I just need to figure out, like, I don't know, there's still several pages of the character sheet that are blank, and I feel like that's a problem. So, to be fair and honest, I actually have almost all the armies, so I'm probably easily triggered already. Hey, as long as he was reciting the right litany, the Emperor protects, even against the vacuum of space. Fair point. That's why I like Malifaux so much. The lore is equal parts tongue-in-cheek and dark serious. They walk a good balance. You know, Malifaux did have some interesting lore, and I want to say their Through the Breach RPG was actually pretty decent. I haven't been able to play it, but I remember when the Kickstarter came out for it, and I think some folks got into it that I knew. Miranda, if you really wanted a good Zelda chat, I'd drop you with my friend Jimmy in chat. He really loves all Zelda. Well, I don't want to just talk to a fan of all things Zelda. Like, you gotta be a little bit critical of some of the stuff. And quite frankly, even if Wind Waker is a perfectly good game, the way it came out, I remember the E3 footage. I remember the trauma of that day when E3 showed this footage of basically Twilight Princess footage. It's very realistic and this dark themed Zelda. And then all of a sudden they released Wind Waker, which was this like chibi cartoon mockery. And I lost it. I was like, nope. I was not a fan for that game. And I love Zelda. But I'm not like, you know, an unconditional fan, I guess. I'm like, nah, this sucks. It sucks. If your album sucks, I'm not going to buy it. That's that. And that was it. So I never bought that one. I was against it. And then when Twilight Princess came out, I was just super happy to be back on board. So, and Twilight Princess is a delightful game. Freaking love it. So hopefully that didn't trigger too many people. Let's see, Thomas, I want to try the new L5R also, but I want to play it before I run it. My name is in some of the books for L5R 3rd. Oh, wow. My favorite RPG system will always be Traveler. Almost as old as D&D. Wow. Necron's Chaos for the win. Woo. Okay, getting a little feisty up in this chat. You talking about the new Nagash for 40k? He's the Lord of Death, isn't he? So yeah, I guess with that, that's AOS. But I guess he would be in 40k, because he's a god. And everybody lives forever. I seriously want to get the lobster shirt from Wind Waker. I remember that Nagash messed up Fantasy for a bit due to his buffs. Which edition of L5R? Hold that thought, I'll tell you. Just have to pop on over to where I saved it. Where did I save it? L5R. Nope, not that one. Oh, I think I'm breaking my computer. Bear with me. So upset. Rude. There we go. Oh, nope. Okay. Yep. Don't care about the character sheet. 4th edition. I am in 4th edition. Unicorn Clan noob. I love it. They're the barbarians. So I can make my, like, you know, child of a barbarian wife kind of character. And I don't have to know all the norms of the game. I can just be boorish and horrible, and it fits. So it clearly was the best option. And of course they have the best name. You missed out on Sailboat Simulator Hyrule Edition. Ugh. Chibi cartoon mockery. I was really hurt by it by comparison. Twilight Princess was so great. Except for the spiders. I'm not good with arachnids. Yeah, there was always a lot of spiders, you know, with the Skulltulas and all that. I think I'm about to trigger chat with this statement, so I apologize in advance. I never played a Zelda game at all. I mean, get it. Even video games in general have been a bit hard to justify lately. I mean, I still play World of Warcraft because, you know, I like my guild and we progress and I like my character and all that good stuff, but yeah, video games in general, like, after a while it kind of feels hard to justify the time, but it also depends on what you're into. Like, whenever I was playing whenever I first started playing video games, like Zelda just drew me in. Ocarina of Time just, oh my gosh, owned my soul. And I remember my mom yelling at me because I'd played for 12 hours straight. She was like, you need to go outside. But, yeah. Oh man, what times? But I don't know. I don't hold that against people. Because Lord knows there are so many movies / games / whatever. Because there's so many. Like, more than you can ever consume. So don't feel bad. I mean, they're all kind of designed to fill your time anyway, and it's not like there's not other things to do. Like paint all your miniatures and get through your wall of shame and, yeah, no, those things. Ah, Traveler. Nothing says old school like dying during character creation. Didn't 3.5 do that? Miranda, you and I are on such the same page as Zelda. I'm proud to call you a friend. Why, thank you, J. Alex. Hey, don't forget to hit that like button. Yes, listen to Patrick. He knows what's going on. That's why I love Paranoia as well. Dying before gaming. Luckily, you had multiple lives. What? Beer and pretzels RPG? I do not know what you're talking about. Interesting. Or for me, Mountain Dew and pretzels. Unicorn battle maidens are boss. No, I'll tell you what I've made so far. Should still be alive. There, nope, that's the blank one. Motobushi. Yes, that's what I am. From the House of Moto. The Battle Maidens seemed like they're probably pretty cool, but this one was more appealing to the way I would play my character. So, really the most boorish. Oh well, if you're talking about unicorns, there's an RPG for My Little Pony. Yeah, I don't really care about My Little Pony though. Let's see. I personally have always been a Dragon Clan player. Designed a few cards for AEG back in the day. Wow, that's awesome. Plus depends on the genre of video games. Also very true. Lion Clan is the only true clan. The rest are usurpers. Well, but didn't the Unicorn Clan like disappear for centuries and centuries because they were trying to make sure there were no other threats to the Emperor? And so when they came back, they just sort of adopted these other people, basically, that didn't really fit with the ideals of old school feudal Japan. Andrew Fairbanks, maybe so, but I've never found a reason to get into the series. I was more of a Star Fox person. I loved Star Fox. I remember Star Fox 64, that lovely awkward game. I think that's the only version that I played, other than playing like Smash Brothers or something. I also did some of the online Winter Court events. Nice. I just finished the Red Dead Redemption 2 main story arc. Very rare for a game to make a grown man cry, but damn. Who or what are you working on tonight? This is a Grimkin warhorse. He's so cute. He actually leads an army of people with the toy horse sticks that I know J. Alex has told me what they are before, and then I forgot. But anyway, you have their cavalry models that exist for Grimkin. And so this is the leader of them, and he has a special ability where it's called All Fall Down. So the whole team runs up, and then they all fall on the ground, and then they can't be targeted by ranged attacks, which is actually really valuable in something like War Machine, so I'm excited. All right, let's paint some base. Let's get that base painted. Here you go, Paul. This is for you. All that purple. So much purple. My Grimkin all have purple bases. Just keep shoving that in there. Lion Clan Ultramarines. I'm sensing a pattern. Too quick. You're not supposed to catch on too quick. I also play Signar and War Machine. Wow. Wow. Moto are very cool Mongols. Lots of fun to play. Paranoia rules question. Sorry you die. Next clone, please. Full-on Gaijin Barbarian. Roll around the steps going bar, 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 wearing leather and reviewing the Shiten Yin Wang. In fact, my character's name, and this is just a rough Google Translate, so I apologize if it's a total butchery, but it's Bukiona, which I think is like clumsy. But she basically looks like Xena, so, you know, she'll be fine. She'll probably be fine. And then I've got my horse, because, of course, you know, I get a horse. That's so exciting. And Unicorn Clan take their cavalry very seriously. So, there you go. Mono family is pretty much the I don't give a damn what you think family. Exactly! I love that. That's, I think I picked the right house, at least, for that. I just need to figure out the rest, so bless their heart. The Nayslayers. Well, yeah, the Nayslayers are the unit. I'm trying to remember the little hobby horse? Is it hobby horse? Maybe that's what I'm thinking. Oh, there you go, JX. Thank you. Thank you for remembering. Nayslayers will probably be charged with heresy, but I want to paint a Sheikah symbol on a Space Marine shoulder pad. I don't know. I think that's probably fine. I mean, just don't tell the Emperor about it. Try not to rip a hole in the warp by your actions. What could go wrong? Famous last words in 40K. Oh yeah, and I guess that was the other thing for the new stuff coming out with 9th is the Psychic Sister. I don't know how I feel about it, but she's a pretty major player in the character in the story, so we'll see. But whatever. Hey guys, there's an IKRPG coming out sometime. I don't know when. But when the Kickstarter launches, I'm probably gonna bug you all about it and be like, look, it exists. I'm so excited. People, we all know I love purple, but I cannot base. I'm awful. So double tutorial from Miranda. Hey there, Lex. Welcome to the chat. Let me get more purple out here. I could squeeze it out onto my actual palette that I specifically have for this purpose. But I will continue painting out of the lid because I'm from the Moto family. Motobushi. So as Bushi, are you going with katana or yari as your primary weapon? Probably katana. But I mean, I am super noobing this one up, right? Like I'm going in pretty ignorant. So we'll see what I get out of it. The katana, I'm like, well, I recognize what that weapon is, so I will do that. And I'm gonna focus all of my abilities into being able to fight on horseback, because that sounds fun. Also sounds like a horrible pain in the butt, but that's just what I'm gonna do. Oh, and I do like that the L5R RPG has where you can put in these character flaws in order to gain other abilities elsewhere, so I need to play with that some more, because right now it's just super basic and boring, and so I need to give some sort of flaws to her so she can exploit them or kill the party. I don't know, something will happen, and it will probably be dramatic. Should be basing first, but here I am not doing that. Have to be tidier about it. And then this is like real sand and rock and all that in the base, so it, and even though it's primed, it still takes a fair bit. But just make sure we get some proper purple coverage there. Oh geez, I got like 24 minutes left. 25 minutes left, whatever. Some time left. So we'll see how far we can get through this. Oh well, you can now learn from Miranda. Which big creature model of Age of Sigmar or your preferred fantasy genre would you like to build and paint if you haven't had the opportunity to do so? So Creature Caster has some really, really cool resin models of like greater demons and stuff that have always looked super awesome. But I don't know which one I'd necessarily pick, because you see a model and you're like, wow, that is an incredible model. Look at that level of detail. But if you really consider it, and think, well, how much of this am I going to paint? Like, how much of that detail is wasted on me? Yeah, I don't know. At that point, I might be looking more at like a spaceship and just painting that. Because spaceships are cool too. God, fantasy, it's a little hard. Like, I guess talking about the IK RPG, you know, you could paint up some really beautiful looking archons. You get the different 120 mil base models like colossals and battle engines. The old witch was a fantastic model, but I didn't paint most of her. I only painted like her specifically. I feel like there's an obvious one I'm missing. I like the Baba Yaga style. Like, I would want to do something more folklore-y, I would think, just because that has a very showpiece quality to it. Smart Wargamer Girl, what could go wrong? Me, you do realize this is Warhammer 40k we're talking about, right? What could go wrong? Everything, yes. I've watched Luton's video on the STLs and the Iron Men and the big war that caused the Dark Age of, during the Dark Age of technology, that was also the Golden Age of technology, which is part of why 40k lore is so confusing. But yes, everything can go crazy at any given moment, which feels like a really high anxiety world to live in. Oh, the character flaws make the characters so interesting. I played a Dragon Clan monk that used to speak only in riddles and haiku. That's a lot. Like, did it take you a long time to constantly respond, or was it, or were they pretty like weak riddles sometimes? That was a huge pain to think of haikus that quickly. Yeah, oh my gosh. Great sand effect. Only 25 minutes left and I haven't even finished the highlights on these highlighting the red on these guys. Well, progress is progress. In the fiction for L5R, there was a unicorn character named Shinjo who was at one point holding his horse's reins, a scroll, and a drawn bow. This led many Oni no Shono's jokes on the forums. Oni no Shono? Holding his horse's reins, a scroll, and a drawn bow. So, more arms. Okay. Gotcha. Oni, demon, no, Shono. I don't know what you're talking about. I was trying. Alfonso the Chainer. Hey, welcome. Salvador, just finished the Roadhog. Hey, good job. Tomorrow's painting project is the sumo wrestler for Shadows of Brimstone. And if I feel really ambitious, the piano player. Miranda's actual sand base does have a nice sand effect. That's right, you go for realism where you can, and living in a desert, it's very handy. Here, everything on horseback in court reminds me of that Game of Thrones scene in which opens on a horse's arse, dropping a clod as it's ridden into the throne room. Huh. I really haven't watched Game of Thrones. Named Shinjo Shono. I've been on enough film sets with horses to know that shot was a happy accident. Yeah, I was gonna say that most likely just the horse. I mean, you can't tell the horse to do that. Doug C. Cat always said that the Iron Kingdoms were terribly dangerous. Well, yes, it's terribly dangerous, but it's also like a world worth living in, which is a little questionable in the 40k world. I mean, it's an extremely authoritarian environment for, if you want to be safe at all. And then if you want to be a rogue trader, then I don't know, hope you don't come across some Necrons or freaking Tyranids just floating around in space devouring everything they see. It's a little spooky. And then there's like millions of planets to contend with there. Most of them aren't going to be safe. So, IKRPG, it's a little smaller scale, Yeah, a lot of dangerous places. The Thornwood, not a great place to just go wandering around. Sure. But, if you can handle yourself, then maybe it's fine. Maybe you can take a Tatzel worm. Maybe that's not the end of the world. Whereas if you run across a Tyranid, the average man is going to be dead. It's just a bad situation all around. My favorite discussion with him, he mentions what it would be like to be a lumberjack and fighting Tharn whenever you need wood. We need more lumberjacks. Well, I mean, that is part of the butcher's story. Not him as a lumberjack. He was more of just a, I don't know, what was he, like, labor for him? Well, it was almost like a mill. But he lost his family to the Tharn, because the Tharn are just horrible ravagers that just, you know, just, they follow the Devourer worm, right? So they're humans, but they're different. They've changed as a result of their following of the Devourer worm, and so they're actually stronger than normal people, and they drink blood, and I think they might be cannibalistic, and they have shamanistic magic, and they sort of explore blood rituals, which sort of harkens back to what the Orgoth did, which was no bueno. There we go, getting some black on there. Kind of makes this look a little slicker, a little more finished. Alright, I'm going to try something. I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. The RPG said outside the cities is pretty much wildlands. Yeah, and there's a lot of like little cities and towns, and you know, there's militias, right? And so some areas are more protected than others. A lot of the rural areas of Khador, for example, are much more dangerous than the wild areas of Signar, because I think the people tend to be a little better organized. That was how I took it anyway. Miranda, you might want to consider picking a family or person to have as your foil. The Unicorn have had disputes with several other clans over the years. Phoenix, Dragon, and Lion. Really? That's a good idea. So just like whatever, well, I guess a family from any of those clans. So I just cannot stand the look of them or the feel of them, or they dishonored something or other. I heard them making fun of me at a poker table somewhere. Something like that. I like that plan. Maybe I will. Thank you, Jan Scott. I don't know that I'm loving this. We'll see. We'll see if this is a good idea or not. We want more of this gray undertone. I think I'm gonna have to redo that. This white is fine, but it really is much better as a dry brush than a full-on color. So I'm gonna stick with more of a light gray, I think. Do you sleep all night and work all day, cut down trees, skip and jump, and go to the lavatory? Oh my goodness. I think it's the hiatus of all factions made superficially funny. Scroll back, what did I say? Once COVID is all done, are you going to be doing War Machine bat reps again? I mean, I'd like to. I'd have to catch up on all the CID at this point, but yeah. I mean, in my world, there's just going to be, you know, I'm not acknowledging this infernal business that they've won anything, so should be interesting. So yeah, for that, and then Space Hulk and 40K. Actually, I really have been wanting to do 40K, and since you can do small point games now, or since you can do small point games at all, I'm super interested in doing that. Let's see. Oh, that's fabric. Let's paint that in there. Yes, one of them insulted you or your family's honor, and you plan on redeeming that honor. So how do you redeem that? Is like murder the only option, or do you insult them back? And then it's like a game of tag with insults. I'm not really good at this honor guarding stuff. Alright, we're painting the fabric red. It's a little hard on this model to tell what exactly is what, but this is fabric, turns out. Ta-da! Just like this lovely little flag that is here. It's not murder if it's based on honor. Okay. Let's see, what was really missed for iCarRPG was more Strange Light Workshop stuff. I loved the Call of Cthulhu King feel to it. There was an issue of No Quarter Prime where they explored some of the Strange Light Workshop stuff. And yeah, it was pretty lean, and they're definitely going to be expanding on that in the new releases because, I mean, if the Infernals didn't win and humanity survives, there's probably Grimkin still running around, and I think they even said that in the keynote. So, heck yeah, let's explore some of that. Except when Scorpion does it, they have no honor. Oh my gosh, so much tribalism in this chat. I have wet hands, so I cannot type as often as I'd like. I've been over here singing the Lumberjack song, unable to type about it. But Thomas Grable and Jay made him proud. Wow. Ay, ay, ay. So you're talking about Barrels of Kill Team combat patrols or full out 40k? I mean, it would be small 40k, but it would be the proper 9th edition rule set. Because Kill Team is still a separate rule set. And so, while I think it would get watched, I don't know that would be as interesting to people as a proper 40k game. So I was sort of leaning more toward that. Goodness, it is so hard to tell what some of these pieces are. Alright, that's wood. It's all wood, and then those are hair tossers. It's a tiny bit of red in there too. I ran the Immortality Adventure for my group. We had a blast. I'm now converting the Witchfire trilogy from D&D 3.0 to iCarRPG. I mean, it looks like it should convert. I mean, you might as well prep it to convert for 5e at this point. Well, normally honor is redeemed by dueling, but not all duels are to the death. Ooh. Thinking of picking up some Grimkin. Which warlock do you recommend? So I know he comes with the basic box set, but I think the Heretic is super strong. Now, if you really want a painting challenge and a lovely model, the Dreamer is another really beautiful looking model. I have not picked her up. She's a little more complicated because she comes with additional models that she dreams up, which fight and help her. So there's that. But the Heretic is overall just very powerful. He's extremely well-rounded, good all-comers list, kind of, you know, as much as you can for War Machine. So I like him. And then I've also got the King of Nothing. He's more of a denial player, so I don't know if that's necessarily your play style. There's also the Child. I don't have that. She's good for running a lot of beasts. So it depends a little bit on your style, but again, a really good base level one is the Heretic. I don't think you can go wrong with him. Oh, the Unicorn are also known for their wrestling, which they take very seriously. They are second only to the dragon in that field. Are you kidding me? Like I would challenge people to wrestling? Are you messing with me? What is it Chevy Chase said? It's like, I can't tell if you're being serious or not. It all sounds silly to me. And one of like the best episodes of Community ever written. It's basically guaranteed that Infernals lose. Riot Quest is a timeline that we lose. Well, Warcaster is too. The Crab Clan would take issue with that. Wow. Crab is okay with Lion. I'll allow it. Alcyon, so much drama already. The Unicorn are also known for their soufflés, which they take very seriously. If one falls, it dishonors the entire clan, and such dishonor must be avenged. But you must bake the soufflé while on horseback. Depends on the culture. Dueling is not always the only option. Some cultures require the person to go through a series of trials to be redeemed through enlightenment, atonement, etc. It's sounding really complicated. Can I just hit it with my katana? What if my horse hits it? Does that cause dishonor? The crab have the added benefit of being big and beefy. I was real lucky and got Old Witch 2 for like $60 on eBay. Oh, heck yeah, it sounds awesome. Thanks for the suggestion. I've been debating this for a while. Yeah, check it out. And I mean, if you have War Room and if it matters to you, then you might poke through those rules as well. Miranda, I made my mind up. I made mine up. It sounds totally legit. Yeah, I was kind of guessing that, but you know, it sounded good enough. That's how lore works, right? It's good enough. Oh wait, that's 40k. Not to give it too much grief, but wow, some of the 40k lore is just bananas. In fact, in World of Warcraft, one of my guild mates was chatting me up about the 40k lore because he was like, "Where do I start?" I'm like, Luton. Start with Luton. He sorts it out pretty well for you. It's like figuring out which books to get in on and, you know, detangling the drama of the Horus Heresy and even understanding STCs versus, you know, standard template constructors versus constructs, templates, I should say. And then, yeah, standard template. Oh my gosh. Yeah, constructs versus constructors was also confusing. And then there's like how the Eldar God got made, and I don't know, it's a very, very messy world. And that's partly part of its interest, right? But a bit intimidating to new folks. Definitely watch for that. So now I can say, no, just play IKRPG. It's 5th edition. It'll be easy. So excited. Yes, that is a far better color to have on him. Looking a little dark and spooky. Spooky horse head. And it's got a unicorn horn because obviously. It's not very complicated. I can't just hit it with my... Well, thank you, Torrent Wolf. I appreciate you looking. I've only got a few more minutes left anyway, but it was situated over a spirit gate, and when the sumo would stomp to cleanse the ring, they would drive spirits out into the city. Wow, that has an amazing visual. It sounds amazing. Looks like we have a War Machine group starting here soon, probably 4 or 5 players. Awesome, Bills. As long as it wasn't Scorpion, then you know the winner was chosen before the match and somebody was pickpocketed. How much time do we have left? 7 minutes. Personally, playing War Machines is a much better play and consistent with rule plays. So I'll always argue that the core rules for War Machine are the best rule set you'll find. Very clear. There's always an answer. It's not, 8th edition rule set where they're like, well, if you're not really sure about it, just roll and see which one is right. It's not any of that. There's always a clear answer, which I think actually creates, normally, better sportsmanship. So yes, I love the core rules. It's all those special rules that got a little bogged down in. The challenger was Shosuro Ichisu, who defeated the Iron Chef Rokugani style. Yatsuki Koro. Koro's main dish got incinerated when his stove mysteriously flared up. Yeah, no sabotage there. Must have been a gas leak. Well, of course it has a unicorn horn. Come on, guys. Let me be girly in the ways I can be. Alright. Well, I think I'm just going to get a wash on this base, and then you'll sort of see the final base level of it. And I haven't used my black wash in a while. Got that null oil busted out here. Yeah. Because this is actually the final color of my Grimkin Sturf. It's more of a diminished purple because, you know, purple was the faction color, of course. And then you make it dark and dim. Oh, people are still shooting fireworks out there. So many fireworks. Actually, I hope everybody had a delightful 4th of July. I mean, if you celebrate it anyway. Because here in Albuquerque, there were many, many fireworks. Many, many, many. So many illegal fireworks. It's really pretty. Mm. Alright, and that's basically it. And then you've got a completed base, and now it's all like dark and dingy and, you know, spooky. That's the spooky ground the Grim can walk upon. 8th edition Warhammer Fantasy Battle. The rulebook sucks, but amazing setting. No, 40k, 8th edition. I miss Company of Iron so darn much. Dude, it got convoluted though. There were additions, and you know, you could start playing warjacks in there, and then they started adding like the junior warcasters, and I think it got bloated. I wouldn't mind seeing Company of Iron revised, but it wasn't a fast playing game, and I think that hurt it. Looking very good. Thank you, Adeptus Ridiculous. You're very charming. So now that Miranda's unicorn, we'll see more purple in all of her minis. Well, I don't know about that. We'll see how good an experience this is. I can't find any good washes anywhere. Where do you get yours? These are Citadel. This is like the one thing I actually do care about the brand on, because yeah, they make great washes. Seraphim Sepia and then Agrax Earthshades around here somewhere. But I've found those washes to be delightful. Now, there's stuff you can look up online to make your own washes, and I'm sure people in the chat know way more about that than I do, but yeah, that's where I get mine. I wish we could get a different Wormhorde skirmish game than Riot Quest that's more like Mundar Kill Team. And that's where I think Company of Iron would be ideal to step in. It just needs to get revamped, though. GW is null oil and Agrax Earthshade. Auto winner is expensive, but worth it. And it lasts. It lasts. Pretty purple pony power. Well, we've got some red here. I need to get this white in, but I need to go find my gray. And probably stick mostly with gray. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go all gray on that and then just highlight white. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I guess I should mention that I'm painting my Test of Honor miniatures to match L5R clans. Wow. So many nerds in this group tonight. I love it. It's really... That's an interesting gray. I don't know that I hate that. UW has some of the best shades around. No, their washes are really good, and I don't really have any experience with the other ones, so I could tell you about it. But I am happy with my washes, and they literally like make everything I paint look way better, so can't go wrong. Such pretty hair. My goodness. I wonder where these Grimkins stole it from. Because it's like just tacked onto the horse, not its hair. I don't like Citadel products. Disclaimer, I've never bought any of them. However, to me, their prices appear overinflated for an already expensive hobby. Not wrong, but I do think it's worth it for the washes. Part of it's just, you know, how much you're willing to pay for convenience. Because again, you can make your own washes if that's what you want to spend your time doing. So... I'm kind of digging this, what is it, granite gray I literally found on my desk. There's a tinge of blue to it, but it seems to be working. Oh, looks like we've hit our limit here, so. And then I'm gonna dry brush white over that, which should help make that a little more interesting. Ooh, I'm liking that spooky color though. All right, well, I'm going to end it here, guys. Good night and wicked dreams to you all. Thanks, Thomas. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate all of you guys being here and hanging out, and we got a little bit of painting done. And then thanks for listening to me like totally be crazy about the IKRPG stuff, because there's a new IKRPG coming out and it's exciting news. It's so great. All right, we're getting there. Obviously it needs a wash, but we're getting there, one step at a time. Well, before the witching hour arrives, good night. Be safe, stay healthy, practice your bow on horseback, your kata, and keep your weapon sharp. Hello from Japan, hey, welcome. We're about to leave, but thank you for coming in. Yeah, me too, gotta work. Yep, have a good night, guys. You take care. So washes are for mini? Washes for mini, like primer gesso? Maybe? That I'm less familiar with. But there's a ton of tutorials you can check on for that to know the difference. So, anywho, have a great night, guys. You take care, and happy painting.